Hello fellow coders, my name is Pavel and I'm here with another Visual Basic exercise from the book Introduction to Programming using Visual Basic. This is chapter 6 and this is project 5, and they say that the following words have 3 consecutive letters that are also consecutive letters in alphabet, like thirsty, RST, are consecutive letters in alphabet, Afghanistan, FGH, student, STU. So we are going to write a program that accepts a word as an input and it determines whether or not it has 3 consecutive letters in the alphabet. We are supposed to use a Boolean-valued function named IsTrippleConsecutive that accepts the entire word as the argument. And they give us a hint to use the ask function. What this function does, it's built in Visual Basic. What it does, it gives you a numeric value of a character. For example, I believe it's 65, I'm not sure, but whatever. Let's say the letter A has a numeric value of ASCII value of 65, B 66, C 67. So you can see how we can do it with find the consecutive order using this function. I already have the form. Right now it doesn't do anything, it simply loads. There's a text box for the word and a text box for the output, whether it is consecutive or not. And it will simply output yes or no. And a button that when clicked, it will evaluate the word. Okay, so let's come to our coding, and let's start with the function. So let's do let's say public function is, what do they call it, triple consecutive, and it accepts the whole string, the whole word as an argument. So I'll just do a word as string as an argument, and it will return Boolean. It will return yes or no. It will evaluate the word and return yes or no, it is consecutive or not. So I will declare a result as Boolean. That will be the result of the the comparison, and we are looking for 3 letters, so I will do letter 1, letter 2, letter 3 as integers. These will be the ASCII value of of each of the characters. Now we need to get the characters separated from the from the string. So we will do a loop for I as integer, and the length, or how many times we will be looping, is simply the word's length. So it will be the word dot length minus 3. The reason it's minus 3 because we are looking for 3 letters. If we do, well, let me just do it without it. You'll see how it's gonna get out of the boundaries. So now we will do the get numeric value of character, and we'll do L1 equals. Now what does it equal? It equals the first letter of the word. Okay, so it's gonna be simply, and remember we are getting a numeric value of that character, so we have to convert it to our integer. Now we will use the ASCII function, and you can see that it returns an integer value representing the character code corresponding to a character. In other words, it returns the integer. Like I said before, A is I believe 65 or something like that. So what character are we looking for? Well, we are looking for the word, and we can do it. Remember, the ASCII value for lowercase and uppercase is totally different. It's like two completely two different numbers. So let's do it either on lowercase or all in uppercase. So that way we will be able to deal with only one order. We don't have to check whether it's lowercase or uppercase. We will simply, for the ASCII value, we will convert the character of that word that we are taking into account right now. So in this case, it's going to be the first letter. We'll convert it to uppercase and find the ASCII value of that and store it in our L1. So we will to uppercase, and we are looking for a substring. And what substring we are looking for? I. That's gonna be the first one. Again, this is the first letter. And the length of the we are looking for is 1. We are looking for one letter only. So we'll do the same with L2. If we do integer, ASCII, and we will do word once again to upper, so we can compare those values. And it's a substring, but this time the starting point is the second character, and the second character would be I plus 1, and the length is again just 1. We are looking for one letter. And finally, L3 equals integer, and the word once again to upper and to substring, and the substring this time is the third letter, so it's going to be I plus 2 is the starting point, and the number of letters is 1. So L1, you can see it's I, that's the first character. I plus 1 is the second character, we store it in L2, and I plus 2 is the third character. So that's why over here we need to have the -3, otherwise this would get out of bounds, because when we get to the end, we are checking the last 3 characters. If we go all the way to the end and try to get I plus 1, we will get out of bounds. So that's why we need the length -3, because again we are checking the last 3 characters in. We are checking all 3 characters in one batch, so to speak. Okay, so now we can check if they are consecutive. So that's very simple. We will simply do if. And how do you know if they're consecutive? Well, if A equals 65, then B equals 66, and C equals 60. What did I say? 65, 66, and 67. So basically, if our L2 minus L1 equals 1, again, they are consecutive. So it's 66 minus 65 equals 1, and the L3 minus L2 equals 1, then we have a consecutive letters. Then we will do result equals true, and we will return result. Now I'm not setting anything to by default. Let's do this to initialize it to false, and so it will become true only if this condition is true. Again, so let's look at it. For example, what am I doing here? Let's say A equals 65, B equals 66, and C equals 67. So what I'm checking is if whether 66 minus 65 is 1, which it is, or if 67 minus the next one to it would be B is 66, whether it equals 1. All right. If this one would be let's say D, then it would equal to 68, and this obviously would not be true anymore, because you would get a 67 minus 68 is not 1. I hope that makes it clear how the comparison is, how the math of this works. You always have to have, with the consecutive, the result of the further number minus the one before it must equal to 1. Okay, so now we have the function. Now we can simply go to our button click and do our dim, and I'll do the word. as string, and I will simply assign it the text.word text, and I will do another result as Boolean, and I will do it as a false. So our result will equal whatever is returned from this function. So we will simply call the function IsTrippleConsecutive and pass the text box or whatever is in the text box, which is stored in the variable called word. So we will pass the word, and it will set the result to either true or false. It will become true if this condition is true. It will return true and assign true to our result. And if this is false, then it will remain false because we initialize it to false here. It will return false and make our result value, change it to false. Okay, so and now we will do, we could do this actually. There's another way to do it. Let me just do it this way first. I'll show you the other way. So if result, in other words, if it's true, then the output dot text equals yes. Yes, they are consecutive. Else, the output dot text will equal to no, they are not consecutive. And that's all there is to it. So let me run it first. So if I run the let's make it in like a all mixed up cases, just so we can see that it will still if it should actually say yes, but it says no. So I probably forgot something. Let me just check that. You know what, let me do it, oops, I'm typing, but I'm not. It should say yes. If the result equals true, you know what, time to debug. Let me see what I did wrong. So I go to our first iteration, and you can see L1 is 65 because that's A, L2 is 70, and L3 is 71. Remember, the first was aFGH, right? aFGHanistan. So this one would simply be oh, I see already what I did wrong. This if statement needs to be within the loop. Right after we do the looping, we need to compare those L1s and the L1, L2, and L3, then do the calculation and set the because after, if you do it after the loop, then L1 will equal whatever was the last letter checked. L2 will be the last second letter. I mean the last. L3 will be the last letter. L2 will be the last -1, and L1 would be the last -2. So basically it will be the last 3 letters of the word. So let's try it again. And now we have yes, it is, the aFGH is consecutive. If we do something like then it should say no, because there's no consecutive letters. If I do thirsty, then we have the RST, that's consecutive, and so forth. So now it's working as expected. To come back to this if statement, technically I don't actually need result. All I need, I can do the, since this function is returning true or false, or a Boolean, I can simply do it over here, like that. If the return value is true, then output is yes. If the return value is false, then the output is no. And it should work just the same. and you got it thirsty, yes, because again the RST, and that should be no, and that should be yes again, and it is. So you can see that this works as well, just as well, and we don't need the additional variables. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I hope it was helpful. I'll see you next time. Take care.